Hello everyone, I'm Jim Longworth. Welcome to another edition of Triad Today. Coming up later on, our infamous Roundtable gets together. We'll see what kind of controversies they get into. But between now and then, some great guests and important information coming your way. We'll talk about the link between education and workforce development. And speaking of education, we'll tell you all about online learning, and we'll see what's coming up at the High Point Theater, all that and much more. But first, we turn our attention to employee wellness programs, and one of the best ever is being represented by these three folks who are with me right now. My special guest on my immediate right, Donna Gardner is Director of Accounting and Financial Reporting at Crumley Roberts, Attorneys at Law. Also with Crumley Roberts, Heather Thompson is Manager of Operations and Special Projects. And down bringing up the rear, and I mean that affectionately, Bobby. Bobby Manning, an intake representative, and we welcome all three of you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Donna, I'm going to start with you. Crumley Roberts has something called CREW, C-R-E-W. What does that stand for?
Crumley Roberts Employee Wellness.
Now, how did that get started?
Well, several years back, Kim Roberts, who was our Director of Cultural Development at the time, or VP, and is now VP of Marketing and Brand Management, just decided that she thought it would be really cool if all of our employees would be able to be engaged in a holistic, inclusive, non-judgmental, and fun program to help them become healthier people all around.
And of course, she gets a lot of these inspirational thoughts too from her mom, because her mom was a nurse.
Exactly.
And that brought that whole thing home too, so there was some enthusiasm there. Now, I understand somebody tell me you benefited personally from this. In what way?
I did. I'm not quite sure how, but one day we were talking when CREW first got started, and I went from being a complete couch potato to all of a sudden I'm out running in June.
Wow.
And didn't know why that happened, but it was great. And the next year I ran a full marathon, and since then I've maintained diet, exercise, yoga, cycling, and everything.
Good grief.
Became part of my life, and I have to thank CREW because when she started it, all of a sudden there I was in every single program that was being put on.
Isn't that great? So. I want to, not to be rude to Heather, but let me skip down to Bobby for just a second. There's something called a wellness challenge. Now, how is it working for you personally and for others?
Well, we're in teams, so the point of the ultimate goal is to lose the most weight as a team.
Okay.
So my team is personally Get Fit or Die Trying. So we're doing well, and I appreciate it because we're able to, essentially, when you sit down all day for 8 hours, you literally...
It's tough.
It is. It's very tough. So,
I mean, these Hollywood stars that say, hey, look like me, and, of course, they've got trainers and all this stuff, and the four of us are sitting at a desk all day. It's tough.
So sometimes you lose sight of your weight loss goals through that 8 hours a day. So
I lost sight of my feet. That's when I knew that I was getting too fat. Heather, now you've been involved with this in a long time, and there's something called a 60-week challenge?
It's a 6-week challenge is what it is. And that's Bobby sort of referenced that. It's a 6-week challenge for us to focus on what we eat and our exercise habits.
So you and Bobby are the same team?
We're on different teams.
Different teams?
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
Well, then what is this thing? I know I was going to ask you too, Heather. What is this 5K thing? Run the Jake? What is that about?
Yes. As a celebration of us finishing the 6-week challenge, all of the teams at Crumley Roberts are going to be running the Jacob Carroll Memorial 5K. It's on November 9th in Trinity, and it's to benefit a group called Patriot Rovers. So it's a wonderful race. It's exciting. It's in Trinity, North Carolina. So that's our celebration. And at the same time, we're giving back to the community by...
Oh, that's just excellent.
Yes.
And can you walk this thing? You don't have to
run
it, though, right?
You don't have to run, no.
Now, let me, since you mentioned that, let's put that up on screen. And I don't know, because we got it up on screen before or not, but we'll do it now. Run the Jake 5K, Saturday, November 9th at the Lynbrook Heritage Estate. Beautiful place, Trinity, North Carolina. RunTheJake.com is a website you can go to. And for more information about Crumley Roberts, all the great things that they do, CrumleyRoberts.com, and you can also see it, I think up on screen, it says /the Roberts Center and then CREW. So that will tell you more about employee wellness. And to Donna and Heather and Bobby, thanks for doing this.
Thank you very much for having us.
Yeah, I admire what you're doing.
Thank you.
I need 3 trainers. Will you volunteer?
Sure,
we'll do it.
Can't pay you.
It's all right.
All right, Donna says she's out then. All right, we'll be right back after this. Back now on Triad Today, and I think I mentioned at the top of the show that there's a link between education and workforce development. We're going to have 2 gentlemen with us now. They're going to sort of talk about that link. and an important initiative that they're involved with. A guest who's been with us many times before. We're glad he's back with us. On my right, he's Walker Sanders, president of the Community Foundation of Greater Greensboro. Walker brought a special guest with him, first-time visitor to Triad Today, all the way from New Jersey, but now he's not in New Jersey, he's here. He's Larry Zarda. He's president of Greensboro College. He's also the co-chair of something called 60 by 30, which we're going to talk about. Welcome to both of you gentlemen. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you for having us.
Walker, let me start with you. Remind everybody, just very quickly, what the Community Foundation of Greater Greensboro, what the mission is.
It's quite simple. We work with individuals to inspire giving. We maximize opportunities in the community and strengthen all the community for present and future generations.
Now, this 60 by 30 that I mentioned, Walker, what is that? Tell me about this initiative.
It's a catchphrase for our focus on workforce development. We are focused right now of getting all of our workforce, 60% of our workforce, to have a degree by the year 2030. And we're defining degree as the necessary post-secondary credentials.
Because, Larry, that's not happening. We're in kind of a bad place right now, aren't we?
In many ways we are. Part of that is because the economy is relatively good, and so most people are not necessarily seeking additional credentials for when perhaps there's a downturn. And community college enrollment is usually a good reflector of that dynamic, and we've seen that here locally of late.
Right. Walker, why is the program important for Guilford County?
If we want to be competitive for attracting jobs, if we want to retain jobs, we have to have a competitive workforce. Right now, our workforce on a 21st century competitiveness is not competitive. We have 45% of our workforce that has the necessary post-secondary credentials. We need to increase that to 60% so that companies will bring their jobs here and that we have their workforce has the skills to compete for the jobs.
Now, Larry, what kind of benefits would accrue to the area, both short-term and long-range? What kind of benefits can we look at?
I'd probably answer that first, the benefit for the individual. For about 40 years now, various federal government agencies have tracked the variables that affect lifetime income. And what is clear, and those agencies are the Internal Revenue Service, Social Security, Bureau of Labor Statistics for obvious reasons. And when they first started tracking that 40 to 50 years ago, the difference between a high school education and a college education in terms of lifetime income was about 20-some%. For the last year they reported data, which I want to say is 2017, that is now up to 70%. And so the first thing I would say is for the individual, the benefit is very clear. You simply will be much more able to generate income during your lifetime.
Sure.
But to build on what Walker said, before I came to Greensboro, I was in Northern Virginia outside Washington, D.C., and that area has the most educated workforce in the country. And you know, economic development was a very different matter in Northern Virginia. You didn't have to sell in the same way. You know, hence Amazon too. That's why they landed in Arlington, Virginia.
Oh yeah, Northern Virginia, we used to joke about it and say that's a country all to itself because it's so diverse and it has so many opportunities up there. So yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Very quickly, Walker, what kind of strategies are you implementing to make sure this program is going to be successful? It's one thing to say, here's our goal. How are you going to get there?
Well, we need a lot of key partners. I mean, we have the co-chairs with Larry Zarda, president of Greensboro College, Donna Griffin's the co-chair with D.H. Griffin Company. It's going to take the higher education institutions, our local businesses. We're working close with Guilford County Schools, the Greensboro Chamber of Commerce, the High Point Chamber of Commerce, all of us coming together. This is an all-in. We need to focus first. There'll be 5 major parts of it. The first part of it will be focused on say yes to education, really focus on getting kids prepared for the right career, and focusing on apprenticeships with the Guilford Apprenticeship Program, focusing on actually what we're calling our inclusive innovation ecosystem. So to say,
right.
There are folks in our population that just are not feeling connected, and we need to make sure that that population is getting connected to this. Continue working with our college students and our young professionals to make sure that they are staying engaged and we retain them as much as we possibly can.
I just think this is great. Before time gets away from us, I want to put up on screen cfgg.org. I would do this for the radio listening audience again, www.cfgg, standing for Community Foundation of Greater Greensboro.org. Lots of good information on that. And I hope you'll also learn more about Greensboro College, and there's some videos I've seen of you, Larry, on there that I'm really glad that we have you in the area and somebody like you representing and co-chairing on this. I appreciate your time on this.
It was great to be here.
All right, and don't be a stranger. See both of you come back sometime. Or he can come back alone, it doesn't matter.
Anytime, invite us, we're ready
But
to
you
come.
drove together, didn't you?
We did, always do.
I guess you'll have to appear together then. All right, Walker Sanders, Larry Zarda. We'll be right back after this. Back now on Triad Today, and you know, you hear about a lot of folks that are getting college degrees thanks to online courses and education, online learning. That's something when I was in school 150 years ago, we didn't have anything called online, but we do now. We also have an expert seated next to me about this. Next to me is Karen Bull. She happens to be Dean of Online Learning at UNCG, my alma mater, although they keep that a secret. Welcome, Karen. How you doing?
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me today.
We didn't rehearse this or anything, but when did you first get an interest in online learning?
In online learning. You know, my father tinkered, he was a tool and die maker, and he tinkered in computers. And so I think that as I grew up through high school and into my college years, having a knack for online learning kind of just came naturally to me for that
Right.
love of computers and distance.
Right, that's great. And now where did you go to college?
Allegheny College, Meadville, Pennsylvania.
Oh yeah, I know where that is
Yeah.
actually, or sort of where that is. Now why is online education so important today? Because, you know, we already have these great state universities around in this area, you know, and A&T and Winston-Salem State, UNCG. And some people might say, well, just show up for class. Why would you do something online? Why is online learning so important?
Sure. Online learning is extremely important to reach individuals outside of North Carolina and beyond. Not everybody can make it to a campus for a traditional residential program. We have those that are working in the military and providing service. We have those that are in rural areas, and it's really a way to provide access to those across the state and beyond.
Absolutely, and I imagine that it's also, you know, if somebody has a full-time job, you know, they can make this work where they wouldn't have time to go to class too.
That's right. There's flexible options in the online environment. There's different lengths of term for course offerings, so 7 weeks, 10 weeks, traditional 15-week courses, and it really can allow for a student to juggle their multiple responsibilities, but take it when it's convenient for them.
Now, I'm just floating out here without any knowledge, which is what most politicians do, but I'm going to do that for right now. And that is, I'm guessing things like taking pottery courses or certain types of art. I mean, you can't do those things online. They're hands-on things. So what are some of the newest online programs you offer? Give me a couple examples.
Sure. So one of our newest is a Bachelor's of Science in Integrated Professional Studies. And that degree program is teaching students the skills that employers are demanding nowadays, things like data analytics and creative thinking around problem solving. And those programs our program is offered in 7-week format, so students can take 2 courses in a single semester and still make progress towards degree completion. On the graduate side of the house, we have the Bryan School that is now offering an MBA, Master's of Science in Information Business, as well as a new PhD program at a distance, fully online.
Right. And of course, you said this is an access issue and it helps people in rural areas and people out of state. But what about people in this immediate area? I mean, you're not ruling them out either.
That's
so.
right. We've seen an increase. 43% of our students at UNCG have taken an online course this past year.
Right.
So,
Now, what about the cost? And I don't know if you want to get into this or not, or we'll give the website in a second. But is the cost of taking an online course the same as going and showing up for class, or is it different?
So it is different because we know that as an online student, you're not necessarily taking advantage of the health center or the recreation services, so you're charged appropriately. And then you have the additional cost considerations where you're not paying for a residence hall or a meal plan or parking. So those can really add up and have an impact on lowering that final cost.
Wow.
For us at UNCG, we're having real conversations around student debt and responsible student debt so that students who are working don't have to take a full load. They might want to take what's
Right.
responsible for
And
them.
then come out with that debt burden.
Sure.
All right, up on screen for more information. UNCG.edu. UNCG.edu has all sorts of information for you. I just think this is exciting. And if I take an online course, I'm not required to go to campus. I can just stay in my pajamas, right?
That's right.
Well, that's a frightening thought right there, isn't it? Karen, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Come back sometime, will you?
Wonderful. Thank you.
All right. We'll be right back after this. Triad Today, and it's time for our segment called Theater Talk. We really need a graphic or something that says Theater Talk, don't we? No, we don't. Next to me is Mr. Theater, Dave Riggs, Director of High Point Theater. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you, Jim. Always a pleasure.
We have a lot of stuff we want to cover and tell people what's coming up at the theater, but before that, I always sort of interject what I call a stupid Longworth question, because I want to know these things.
Sure.
Now, here's one. Let me try it out on you.
Yeah.
Let's say that my wife and I want to buy season tickets to High Point Theater. Now, we haven't rehearsed this. I'm just curious about this. can I request that we sit in a certain area? Can I request certain seats? Or do we just take our chances where we go?
You can do all of those things, actually. Most of the people who are subscribers, they get a little bit of an early bird jump on the rest of the folks who are buying tickets. But that doesn't mean you can't be a subscriber throughout the year. But when you order your tickets and you say, hey, I really want to sit in the middle, so I like row J or row K, maybe seats
Then you
14,
can
15,
accommodate
16.
that.
As long as those seats are available, we'll be happy to take
All
care
right,
of
well,
them.
that's good enough.
And then if they buy a number of seats, we oftentimes are able to put them in that seat for the entire season or for the number of shows that they choose.
Wow, that's cool. All right. Well, thanks for answering that, because
You're
I
welcome.
don't know
Sure,
these things.
sure.
All right, let's go over some things that we particularly want to look at the month of November, and I'm going to take this in chronological order, and we'll go with that. Lee Rocker, November 1st.
Lee Rocker was the bass player and the leader of the Stray Cats. This is going to be a phenomenal show. I've gotten to see him in concert twice now, and he brings so much energy. It's rock and roll, it's blues, it's a little bit of jazz, and he is tossing this bass all over stage, man.
Wow.
He's having a great time.
November 3rd, Vienna Boys Choir. We mentioned that last month.
We
but
did.
I want to talk about that again, Vienna
Well,
Boys Choir.
they've been performing for over 150 years. Of course, it's different boys this time.
Well,
but
yeah.
but no, they're a phenomenal group of young male voices from Europe, and they'll be amazing.
I love the sound of the Vienna Boys
Yes.
Choir. November 22nd, Jeff Allen.
Jeff Allen is an amazing comedian, and I keep using the word amazing, but go to YouTube, go to any of the comedy channels, and look up Jeff Allen. This performance is the America I grew up in, and so he pokes fun at cell phones and televisions and how we interact with one another, and I think it's going to be a great evening of entertainment.
Fun. November 23rd, Lee Rittenauer.
Lee Rittenauer is just a phenomenal jazz guitarist. And we're very, very proud to have him with us. Not only is Dave going to be performing, but an amazing piano player who has actually won an Academy Award, Dave Grusin, is his pianist.
Dave Grusin
Dave
is the
Grusin
pianist?
is his pianist.
He
So
did,
it's going to be an
the theme
amazing
from
show.
On Golden Pond.
On Golden Pond,
Saint Elsewhere,
Tootsie, you name
Tootsie.
it, yeah.
Dave
remarkable.
Grusin's coming with Lee Rittenauer.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, why didn't I say Dave Grusin? I
Well,
didn't
because
know.
it's the Lee Rittenauer show.
Well, I didn't know.
That's okay.
November 24th, John Barry.
John Barry, American Country Music Association award winner on many, many different platforms. This is his Christmas show. It is a very special evening of entertainment, and his version of Oh Holy Night will give you chills.
Now, you had something you wanted to mention that we didn't have on screen.
I
but
did,
what
yeah.
is it?
We've got the High Point Triad has talent, and this is the Friends of the High Point Theater. This is their annual fundraiser.
Big talent show.
Big talent show. The talent show will actually be February 1st, 2020, but the auditions are November 18th. And for information, they can visit the High Point Theater website.
And sing, dance, tell jokes?
Sing, dance, tell jokes, juggle. Yeah,
Okay. I might enter it and bring Dave Grusin with me.
I love that.
The Army Band and Chorus, are they coming back? Did I hear that?
The Army Band and Chorus will be there November 12th. Unfortunately, we have given out all the tickets that we
You
can.
can't get any tickets
Can't
for
get
that.
any tickets for it now, but we do have the Air Force Band coming in February.
Wow. There's a Brothers review, the Allman Brothers review?
The A Brothers Review. This is an Allman Brothers band review. A couple of the members from the Dickie Betts Band and the Allman Brothers who have played with those guys, and it's really a tribute to the Allman Brothers. It's going to be a lot of fun.
All right, before we run out of time, for tickets or more information, visit highpointtheater.com. For the radio listening audience, I'll say that again because you want both T's there, highpointtheater.com. That's the website. Or you can call the box office at 336-887-3001. And according to Mr. Theater, Dave Briggs, you can even get lucky and maybe get exact seats that you want. So
That's right.
we'll find out. You're in your exact seat right
I
there.
am in my exact seat right
Thanks. Dave Briggs, appreciate it.
now. Thank you, Jim.
We'll be right back after this. Now, on Triad Today, before we get to the roundtable, a sad note to report. My friend Diane Carroll passed away a few days ago. We met in 2008 when she was on my TV Moms panel out in Los Angeles. A great lady, great singer, great actress, and a breakthrough role in 1968 in the show Julia for many, many reasons. You ought to look it up if you don't remember that. Diane Carroll was 84 years old and will be missed. And a quick note reminder, hope you will pick up your Yes Weekly and enjoy that. It's free, it's everywhere. And now to the roundtable on all the guys. Next to me on my immediate right, but always the political left, Ogie Overman, the great broadcaster journalist. Next to him is the great educator, we call it, Dr. Don Martin. You're not a medical doctor, are you?
No.
Yeah. But you could be. You
Oh, he
played.
could.
No, that's right. Keith is a medical doctor.
No.
Don Martin is, of course, vice chair of the Forsyth County Commissioners and former superintendent of schools, which is going to come into play with this first question we're doing. And Keith Granberry, founder of Helping Hands Consultants, doing great work across the globe. All right, guys, this is a Don Martin question for everybody, though. We're all going to tackle this one. Winston-Salem School Superintendent Angela Harrison is asking parents to stop their kids from bringing toy guns to school. Guys, it's a simple request. Going to get it? Or should there be a policy enacted where parents pay a hefty fine and there's hefty suspensions if somebody brings a toy gun? Ogie Overman.
I think she's trying to be prudent and take kind of the, a reasonable course. But if she doesn't get any results, she's going to have to put some teeth in that and make it mandatory.
Don Martin.
I think it's the right kind of request. Obviously, it's foolishness, but that probably is not going to get the job done. I think in the past, in fact, but there used to be a policy with it was the same punishment as bringing a firearm to school. However, firearms have been elevated to mandatory year suspensions. I think some kind of suspension that is equated to possession of bringing a toy, a look-alike, weapon should be punished.
Mr. Granberry.
I think it should be punished severely. I mean, we understand when you bring toys to school, guns to school of any kind. We also understand the danger that it puts these kids in when they're confronted with the police. They don't know if it's real, and this is a very dangerous precedent, and it should be dealt with severely so kids aren't put in harm's way.
All right, moving on to college. When a female student at North Carolina State University failed to answer a physics question when she was called on in class, and she failed to answer it correctly, her male professor said, quote, "The women are useless today. Let me call on a man." The professor said he was joking, but the university suspended him anyway. Guys, does a sexist joke warrant suspension? Ogie.
Just for the record, I flunked physics in high school with a 19 average.
Whoa.
So a college professor, he probably was joking, really, in his own way. He probably meant it as a joke, but a college professor really ought to know better than that. I think you ought to let him sit for a while.
Don?
Yeah, I think it was very inappropriate, particularly when you realize that women typically are underrepresented in many science courses. I mean, that's a big issue nationwide.
So this was almost like an anti-STEM guy.
I think some kind of punishment's appropriate.
Keith?
I think it's a bit harsh. I think he should have been censored or something like that, but I think to suspend him but make an example out of him so that it won't happen again, I think would be the appropriate action.
Speaking of suspensions, the interim chancellor at ECU, Ogie, has been put on administrative leave because he was seen drinking and dancing with students at a local bar. Guys, do you think it's wrong for a college president to socialize with his students, Ogie?
Not at East Carolina.
No, I know you did everything
That's
down there.
perfectly appropriate in pirate
So
land.
The
you
man
did
of the
everything
people.
wrong.
It's just being a good pirate.
That's right. So Don, what do you think?
Socializing's fine, but drinking and dancing, no, it should not be.
Keith, I know you've socialized a lot with people at the bars down at ECU.
First of all, I don't drink.
Well, I mean, we're in a world now where facts don't matter. Facts do not matter.
I think that they're all adults, but there's a perception that you have that as the leader of the school you have to upheld. I think that has to be very careful with that. But they're all adults, but he definitely should be careful, and it should be a clause in his contract that states that he has to deal with something like that.
All right, last week a Texas judge gave a convicted murderer a 10-year prison sentence instead of, a lot of people thought it should have been a life sentence for murder. And then the judge hugged the murderer and gave her a Bible and said she should read it in prison. There's been a lot of backlash on this. Does anything about this bother you? The sentence, the hug, the Bible? Quickly, Ogie.
I thought it was a beautiful thing. The brother and the judge both, I have no problem at all with that, but if you look at the facts of the case, 10 years is really, really light. I mean, really light.
It is, Don.
It's hard to decide. I mean, I think it was a very emotional trial, and it's very hard to say what the appropriate sentence is, but it was not the least, but it was certainly on that side. I think probably the Bible and the hug should not have been done in public.
Yeah, I would have put her in there for life and then hugged her. Keith?
Yeah, I don't think that it was anything that was not, I think everything was inappropriate. The sentence was very inappropriate, 10 years for murder.
Right.
The hug, the judge, the bailiff, All of that was wrong. I don't see how, if it was the other way around, I don't see how anyone would be hugging a murderer.
No,
I just don't see that.
Inappropriate. And to end on this, speaking of inappropriate, Disney World has issued a list of things that will get you banned from the park for life, such things as groping another guest, hitting one of the characters, that kind of thing, sneaking backstage. Guys, have you ever acted inappropriately in a theme park or a fair? Ogie Overman.
Well, yes. Statute of limitations have run out, but yes.
Yeah, all right. Don Martin.
No, I have not.
Don, you're sort of a straight arrow.
Absolutely.
Don is telling a lie.
Yeah, he is. Don is.
I am telling the truth.
Yeah. Keith, have you acted inappropriately at a theme park or a fair?
It's a matter of what the word inappropriate is.
I'd say.
The definition of inappropriate.
What do you think?
Probably.
Yeah. All right. Well, y'all been banned anyway, except for Don, and he's banned for not
Well, if it's
telling the
those three
truth.
things, I'm okay.
Yeah. Don has never hit a Mickey Mouse.
He's never been appropriate either.
That's right. Well, that's all the time we have. Oh, except for this. Recently, motorists in Michigan were shocked when they came across an electronic billboard inadvertently displaying a pornographic film for 20 minutes. Said one upset parent, "We're not going to take this porn lying down." What does that mean, Ogie? I'm not sure what it means. All right, for all of us, we're all going to a theme park and we're going to hit Mickey. I'm Jim Longworth. We'll see you next.